The 11s definitely are a little snugger side to side. So depending on the width of your foot, you might want to go up. But if your feet are kind of standard width, you could probably go down. But just after having these on foot for a little bit, I'm kind of liking the extra airflow on the size up. Whereas these are feeling a little stuffy barefoot right now. Just having almost a complete contact on the top of my foot with the strap on these 11s. Just having a little more airflow on the 12s kind of feels a little bit better, just in warmer temps. So I don't know, they both have their pros and their cons, I guess, if you go up or go down. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, myself included. I've been waiting on these for a month, man. Ever since they dropped the black ones and I missed out, I've been waiting on these. I've actually, and you'll notice there's two. I got two sizes, so we will know for certain if you should go up or you should go down for the Nike Reactx Rejuven8 Slide. All right, which one? Let's open this one first. So I got two different sizes. I got a 12 and 11 because I didn't know how they were gonna fit, and I got two different colors. So we have two different colorways to look at. Aren't you excited? Aren't you excited? I am extremely excited. These are like the holy grail of slides at the moment. So the first color is Dusty Cactus, metallic silver. I got those in the 12s. And I've heard these run big, so depending on how big they are, I might end up sending one of these back, or I might try to resell them. But actually, I noticed they have them in stock again on the Nike website, so I don't think the resale on these is going to be super high, just because they probably won't be hard to find from this point forward. So we'll see. We'll see what I want to do with them. All right, and then the other one, I got the green. I got the Barely Volt. The Barely Volt. So let's, we'll pull them out and then we'll read the write-up. There isn't a whole lot of write-up on them. Let me pull out one of each. That way I'm not dropping them and fumbling them, because I'm a tad clumsy. So look at that. Look at that. Those look so nice, so clean. All right, so these are the 11s. And then there's our Dusty Cactus. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I like that reflective Nike logo. It's on both of them. That's fantastic. I know some people don't like that with the Rejuvenates. It's too much of a marketing image or something on the side. I think it looks clean. That's a little frumpy though, look at that. That's a little frumpy, the way it's kind of dimpled right there. I'm guessing they had to glue these in, and that one got a little pinched. But all right, I won't get too anal retentive too fast. Let's leave those like that for a moment, and there's a little bit of a write-up on these. Not a whole lot, but, and you know, I can probably just do the review with like this, with one on each foot, and that way I'm getting kind of a balanced perception of them simultaneously, you know? Bring this down a little bit, we'll show some photos, and let me read the little bit of info they have. All right. So I was ready for these when they dropped the other day. I work nights, so I had to set my alarm for like 9:55, and I got up and I was just waiting there in the app, and I grabbed the Dusty Olive ones first, or the Dusty Cactus ones, sorry, the Dusty Cactus ones first, and then in the 12s, because those sold out first, and then once I had those secured, then I went and the Volt ones were still in stock in the 11s, so I snagged those also. All right, Nike Reactx Rejuven8 Men's Slides. Give your feet a rest. Made with soft and responsive Reactx foam, the Rejuven8 uses some of our best tech to create recovery slides you'll look forward to wearing. And this is the Dusty Cactus one I have pulled up. Dusty Cactus Game Royale Metallic Silver. They got pretty good reviews. They've only got 4 out of 5 stars though. I haven't read the reviews on them yet, and I think that's it. I think that's all they have to say. Let me see if there's some more details, product details. Benefits. Reactx upper and midsole surround your feet in soft, responsive comfort. Sticky rubber outsole adds grip even on slick surfaces. Extra room at the forefoot helps accommodate various foot widths. And that is it. And it looks like they've only got 4 colors in stock now. This Dusty Cactus. They have the burgundy one, the team red, which I almost bought. I kind of like that burgundy color, that like wine red color. And then they've got them in black and white. So with all of that being said, I'm glad I grabbed this Volt color if they're not going to continue to keep it in stock. It seems like this might be the rarer color of these two. Even though this one will probably be more popular, I can see more people getting these. So, all right, let's take a look at them. So, move my lights around. I think we're good. All right, so we've got our Reactx logo on the footbed there, and there's kind of a well, it's not really a radial, but it's almost like a makes me think of like a water drop. I don't know what you would call that. Expanding out from the Reactx, you can see the centrifugal circles. No, I can't think of it, but and they're not circles. They're kind of ovals, so they kind of echo out from that. And that kind of also mimics our lines on the side. These are kind of our flow lines. This makes me think of like wind. So these are very sporty looking. I like that touch. So you can see within those lines, there's a little bit of a ridge, and on the bottom, what would be like the shaded side of that ridge, we've got a little bit of that purple underneath. So it creates this kind of nice visual effect. I don't know if it's coming through on the camera as well, but I know you can see where those lines are. And where it's shaded, there's a little bit of a purple tint in the shading. And then they've got the aqua kind of blue on the top side. And that gets more prominent as it goes down. And the purple becomes a little more prominent, or the royal blue. And that's kind of nice looking too. We've got our Rejuven8 outsole that is also on the shoes. I'm sure everybody is aware of that by now. If you're looking at these slides, you're probably familiar with the shoes. So these are a little dirty, but it's the same footprint to it. And the sizing looks relative. These are 12s, and these are 12s in the slides. The slides look slightly... The toe box is different though. I don't know if you notice how the toe box is more squared off on the slide, and it comes to a point a little more with the shoe. So, but you can see the relative design elements. It looks like those flow lines are they're a little more compressed on the slide versus the shoe. The ones on the shoe are a little wider. The ones on the slide are a little thinner. So the foam feels pretty squishy on hand. It's the same foam, it's that Reactx foam. So, and I think that mentioned there was a little more material under the heel in the slides than there was on the shoes. So, and then we've got our kind of I don't know what, it's kind of a rubber Nike swoosh inlay there. Basics strap on the top, all one-piece EVA. Let's see if we can get a look at the footbed. Looks like we got a little bit of an ergonomic footbed. a little bit of an arch. It looks like it's kind of a flat arch. It's a little more prominent on the inside of the foot right here. And then, but it goes across the whole thing. It's not just an inside of the foot arch. It looks like we've got some arch support across the whole length of it. And it looks like we've got a plateau. So where it comes up for the arch, it kind of stays risen for the heel. So then it kind of dips down a little bit for the ball of the foot. And then it looks like it curls back up again a little bit for the toes. So a pretty simple design. Looks extremely relative to the shoe. So I kind of like how the toe box is a little more squared off than the shoe. Let's take a look at the Volt Green in hand, if there's anything different to it. There's no color variation with this one. It's all that solid, barely Volt color, kind of like a pale Volt Green. I like that outsole, how it's kind of the same color. It's very clean looking. But yeah. Looks good. Looks just like the other one. This one is a little more visually appealing, I think, with the color transition. I kind of wish they would have done a little bit of a color transition on these two, but it's also kind of refreshing that they're all solid, just to be a little different, so they don't, you know, they're not too relative. Like visually from this one, they've got a little more distinct visual look to them. All right, I think that's everything in hand. Let's throw them on foot and see how they fit. All right, I think I'm gonna try them separate, and then, so we'll go with the 12s first. And then we'll try the 11s. So a pretty smooth slide in. They're not as soft underfoot though that I was expecting. The ergonomics are a little different too than I was anticipating. So that arch, it does have a plateau like I was predicting, but it goes forward. Like I'm feeling the arch support all the way up. It's kind of forcing me to slide my foot in a little more. But I'm feeling the arch support all the way up to the ball of my foot. And it's a little more center oriented. All right, so the way that this radial pattern is from the Reactx, the arch support is following that line. So I'm feeling it like, you can see where this line is right here. The one behind that, the arch ends right there. So it's very far forward as far as the arch support goes. I imagine it would probably form to your foot over time the more you wore them, but it's different than I was anticipating. So there's a little bit of compression to help fill the void with the arch, but it's, I don't know, the way it is, it's not really kind of, I'm getting a little bit of that, that Adidas center arch void. Just the way that arch is designed, because it's like, it's kind of flat after that. So I feel like it's risen up here, like pushing up under the ball of my foot, but then beyond that, it doesn't continue to curve up. The plateau kind of starts right there and kind of goes straight back. So even though there's that arch support up there, I'm still getting a bit of a void pocket under my arch all the way back here. Just the way that they've designed the ergonomics, or sorry, the way the way the ergonomic footbed is designed. So the strap is a little tight. That's one thing I remember hearing about them, is that they've, which is good. It makes them more sporty, but I've got a little more tension on the strap right here. You can see it curls up a little bit right there for walking. So, but sliding my foot forward all the way to the end, it still isn't lining up properly with that arch rise. But and then I've got a little bit of space in the back, so I'm curious how the 11s are going to fit. But first impressions, I'm a little disappointed in the way that they formed the footbed, and especially just coming from those Skechers Arch Fit. Those have a superior footbed to them than these. But they feel okay, like the squish isn't too bad. but as far as the form of the footbed, I'm a little disappointed in them. I was expecting a little bit of a little better of a design. I want to compare them to the shoe real quick before we start walking too much, just to see if they changed that footbed from the shoe to the slide. Because I don't, yeah, see this. So the shoe, all right, the slide is taller. I've got a little more clearance. Like I'm not completely even-footed standing with these. They changed the ergonomic design of the footbed from the shoe to the slide, because I don't have that arch characteristic in the shoe that I do the slide. The shoes have more of an inside of the foot arch, and then it's kind of it wraps a little more around the heel. It's a little more heel oriented with the design of the ergos, whereas these, it's just a little more flat. But I guess, you know what they probably did? It might be risen a little bit there to raise the foot up, to press into the strap a little bit, but it's a different footbed between the slide and the shoe. I like the shoe footbed better than I do the slide. It's more comfortable and it feels more natural for the shape of my foot. The slide, it isn't bad, it's just not as good as the shoe, and it's not as good as those Skechers that I just tried on. So they're kind of, so far they're kind of mid. I'm kind of disappointed. They're not bad, they're just, I was expecting a little more after how well the ergonomic design was with the shoes. I was anticipating the same with the slides. All right, let's start walking a little bit. So they are firmer. That foam is a little bit firmer, it feels, than the shoe. The shoe felt like it had a little more compression, and it might just be the fact that there's more material there. I'm not getting as much compression underfoot with the slide. So they're holding okay. That strap is holding my foot in place. I would say they're pretty sporty in terms of their fit, which is good because these are kind of a sportier design, I would say. There's a little bit of a heel rise with it, which is expected. So they're all right. And all right, so the one on my left, I've had it on my foot a little longer because I had taken the one off on the right for the shoe. The one on the left is starting to warm up a little more, and that arch is starting to contour to my foot. Where I was getting pressure before up towards the ball of my foot, that has since compressed, and it is contouring to the natural shape of my foot. And I kind of feel the same thing happening with the heel area. I'm getting a little more of a impression under the heel. So that in turn is helping fill that void under my arch that I was experiencing upon the initial slide in. So the softness of the foam, I think, is slowly starting to contour to my footbed. So these actually feel pretty good in terms of the sizing. I wear an 11.5, and these are the 12s, so this would be going up in size, and it's not bad. I don't feel like the strap is too tight. I still have enough space at the heel, and it looks like I have enough space at the toe to where I think going up is the better of the two size options for me. So they're all right so far. I'm kind of liking them. It is a little cooler today though, temperature-wise. So on warmer days, the foam might be a little softer. One thing I'm noticing from top down is the toe on this one is a little dented. That'll probably flex back out. It's probably just from being in the box. But this one's got a little more curve to it. And then this one is almost like straight across, like it's a little blunted of a toe. It's just a visual flaw I'm noticing looking down. But I like this color. I like how vibrant this like teal aqua color is. So these are okay. I got a little bit of a side swivel going on with it. They've got a little, like the width isn't too bad. I don't feel like I'm too tight side to side, but I do notice that I've got a little swivel going on with it. I think it's just the way that the strap is kind of locking in. It's locking in kind of on the very center top of the foot. So it allows it to kind of pivot a little bit. So that's just a characteristic there, but I feel that outsole too underfoot, just on the wood though, it's not bad, but I just noticed the kind of the vibration of those little nubs on the bottom, kind of making contact with the floor. So, all right, let's try on the other size. Let's try on the 11s and see how they do. We'll start top down with those also. All right, we'll do these fresh too. All right, so slide in. All right, these are a little smaller, obviously. They're a size 11, but they still fit. My toes are right at that edge, and my heel is kind of tucked in right at the edge too. So these are more of an exact fit. And they actually feel like they have a little more compression underfoot. It's probably just the difference in material. I imagine there's a little more material on the 12s. So these 11s, they kind of feel a little bit better in terms of the fit. So I think having more of an exact fit might be the route to go, the way to go. The arch doesn't feel so invasive on these. I don't feel like it's coming as far forward on the ball of my foot as was happening with the 12s. It feels like it's a little more in line with the arch of my foot. So initial impressions, I'm kind of liking these 11s a little bit more than the 12s. I don't have as much of a heel rise either on them as I did on the 12s. There was a little more of a heel rise on the 12s. But yeah, you can see how that's squared off right there, how that's kind of blunted. So it's probably from the packaging. I imagine it'll flex back out to its form, but you can see the more of a heel rise. So it's definitely more of a casual fit going up in size. I'm kind of liking the 11s better though than those 12s. A piece of plastic from my work. But yeah, these are kind of better in terms of just initial slide-in impression. I'm liking how these 11s are fitting better than the 12s. They feel a little more like custom fit, I guess you could say. So let's get some walking. Yeah, these feel even more sporty. They're holding on to my foot a little bit better. I'm really not getting much of a heel rise as I'm walking. But that strap doesn't feel tight. Even though these are a size down, like the strap is still nice and it's not feeling like it's overly tight. And so how I mentioned that the 12s, it felt like it was locking in mainly just in the center. This whole strap is locking in better. So I don't have as much of a swivel going on. So if you're in a half size, I think going down might be the way to go. If you want like a better fit, if you want more of a casual fit, probably going up would be good for you. But having tried these both on right now, if I were to just order one size, I think I would go down. I'm kind of liking how these 11s are fitting better. So I'll think about the 12s if I want to return them or just hang on to them. Because I mean, those still fit fine. Like if I just wanted a variation of the design, if I just wanted a different color, like I can just keep those and wear them on different occasions. But right now, I think the downsize is the superior fit of the two, just in terms of how these are designed. Just everything's lining up better. The arch is lining up better. It's a little close on the heel, but it's not bad. That's one thing I've noticed with some slides. If they end up getting too small, like I'll feel my foot come down on the heel, but I'm not getting that with these. They're kind of staying locked in enough. So let's, all right, so now we know how the fit is between the two sizes. Let's throw them on barefoot and see how they do. I forgot to get a down low angle. Let me do that with these. Like a down low angle with the barely volts. So we'll get it when they're both on foot. So they're very smooth on foot. There isn't a like bumps or anything. There isn't really texture on the footbed. It's a very smooth footbed. So that's kind of more geared for barefoot wear, I think. So my foot feels like it's holding a little bit better in place on the 12s barefoot, but they still feel a little bit looser barefoot. They're a little more of a casual fit on the 12s. I notice when I step down and they compress a little bit, I get a little more, there's a little bit of a gap between the strap and my foot at that point. It doesn't entirely separate, it still stays in contact in the very center, but those sides feel a little looser too. So I think that's, if you have wide feet, I would go up in size. I would not go down in size if you're on a half size. I think going up for wide feet will be enough to give you a little extra room from side to side. But if your foot is kind of a standard width, then I think going down would be the better route. So these both feel really nice barefoot. The 12s actually feel like they fit a little bit better barefoot than they do with the socks. And it's probably just because my skin is kind of grabbing on to the foam a little bit better. They breathe a little bit better in the larger size barefoot. I just feel like I've got some more airflow coming in under the strap, whereas the strap on the 11s barefoot is a little bit tighter. So I'm not getting any airflow there, but they're holding on better. Like it's still a better fit barefoot in the 11s versus the 12s, but they're both pretty good barefoot. I don't really have much of a preference. I think I would probably still go with the 11s barefoot, just because I'm not getting any sort of like play or sway with them. They're holding perfectly on my foot. Like I could wear these 11s all day, I think, and not have any issues. I might get some friction points with these 12s, just having them a little looser, but probably still not. They'd probably still fine, or they would probably still be fine, but just personal preference, I would prefer the 11s over the 12s, I think. Like barefoot, you know, they just feel better. It just feels like it's locking on, holding onto my foot better, and it just the ergonomic footbed is contouring to my foot better in the 11s than they are in the 12s. So let me kind of show you some of the compression underfoot there. The 12s do feel a little firmer. I think there's just a little more material there, so the 11s feel like they want to compress a little bit better, but I don't think these are as soft as the Yeezy slides. I think these are a little firmer. Let's throw a Yeezy on foot. Yeah, the Yeezys are still softer. The Yeezys are way chunkier too. A lot more material, a lot more compression underfoot. So these aren't bad. I like them. I think they're good. I don't think they're comparable to the Yeezys. I think it's kind of apples and oranges thing. I think the Rejuve8s are a little more sporty than the Yeezys. The Yeezys are more of like a casual fit, almost like a slipper type of fit, I think. Where these feel like more of a sporty slide, more of like an active slide, you could say. I don't know how active the Yeezys really are. So I think that's all I have to say about these. So final conclusions with the sizing. Depending on how big of a half size you are, if you're closer to the one up, you probably should go with the one up. But if you're closer in size to the one down, probably going down would be good. But I think I'm gonna keep both of them because they are kind of different between sizes. Just the fit, they feel like different slides. So some days I might want a little more of a casual, looser fit. You know, maybe if it's really hot and I want that extra breathability and kind of ventilation, the airflow with the larger ones, I might want to wear those. But I think if I don't know, if I just want a tighter fit, then I'll have the 11s to wear. Maybe if I'm doing a little more walking. So yeah, they're both good. They're both good though. And honestly, you'd probably be fine going either way. But just if you want more casual fit, go with the size up. If you want a tighter, more sporty fit, go with the size down. I think I like the 12s better barefoot and the 11s better with socks on. So yeah, these are pretty good. I'm glad I finally got them. Are they as good as I thought they were gonna be? I was expecting a little more out of them. They are a little different than the shoes. The foam doesn't feel as soft in the slides as they do in the shoes, even though there's more of it. And the form of the footbed is a little different than the shoes too. So if you're expecting like the exact same footprint in the slides as you are or that you've experienced in the shoes, it's a little bit different. But they're not too bad though. I don't know if they're worth all the hype. They're good, I just, I don't know, you know how hype is. You expect like the world out of something and then you get them and they're like, yeah, they're not bad, but that's, I don't know. I think I was just expecting a little more cushion, a little more softness out of them. But again too, it's a little cold today, so maybe once it's warmer, then they might get a little softer underfoot. But yeah, they're good. I still recommend them. I think they're solid. They're a solid design. So, all right, I think that's everything I have to say about these. I'm glad I finally got them. If then anything else comes to mind, I'll make some notations while editing. But if you enjoy this channel and the content, please subscribe. We got a lot more coming. I got a giant stack of boxes here I got to try to go through today. Got like 7 or 8 queued up. So there's a lot more to come. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment on your thoughts and opinions with the Rejuve8 Slide. If you think they're as good as you were anticipating, or if you think there was a little bit of hype going around with these that didn't really come to fruition. So feel free to leave a comment, share your thoughts. If you have any other slides too that you wish me to review, feel free to drop that below. But I think that's everything. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers.